So demand for ABA therapy is through the roof, right? And yet, so many clinics are finding it harder than ever to grow. What's going on? Well, it turns out the old marketing playbook is totally broken. In this explainer, we're going to dig into why just saying you provide compassionate, evidence-based care doesn't cut it anymore. And we'll show you the strategy to become the most trusted provider in your area.
I mean, just look at the sheer scale of this. The behavioral health market is on track to hit $1.3 trillion by 2030. That's a huge number. The need is obviously there, insurance coverage is getting better, and parents are out there, right now, actively searching. So with all that demand, why are clinics still struggling to fill waitlists and just get noticed?
Well, a lot of the time, the problem starts with this exact phrase. You've seen it everywhere, right? It's on pretty much every ABA clinic website out there. And you know, it used to be a really powerful statement, something that built a lot of confidence. But today, honestly, it's just become background noise.
And that is the heart of the problem. When everybody is saying the exact same thing, nobody stands out. The issue isn't that clinics aren't trying to market themselves, it's that there's no real strategic difference. They're just getting lost in a sea of sameness. So why are these well-intentioned efforts falling so flat? It's because most clinics, without even realizing it, are falling into three really common traps.
Without visibility, your business will not grow. I want to invite you to the next brand awareness event. It's designed for healthcare entrepreneurs who are tired of chasing leads, frustrated with the inconsistency of referral sources, and disappointed by the outcomes of paid advertising campaigns. This event is for you. We'll cover topics like how your content can start showing up on AI platforms like ChatGPT and Perplexity. We'll cover how to convert your website into a patient acquisition portal. And we'll talk about how to amplify your brand. This is the opportunity you've been waiting for. It's the insight and the information you need to fuel your growth. It's the brand awareness event. It's my personal invitation to you. I look forward to seeing you.
And these traps are actively working against their own growth. Let's break them down.
Okay, so the first trap is all about marketing services instead of telling stories. The second is putting all your eggs in the referral basket, completely ignoring how families actually look for care these days. And the third is a huge misunderstanding between just promoting yourself and strategically positioning your brand. This right here highlights a massive mistake. Clinics love to market the what, the clinical terms, the fancy credentials. But families, they're looking for the why and the who. They aren't buying your techniques. They're looking for trust, for hope, for a real human connection. A list of facts might build a case, but a story builds a relationship. And that brings us right to trap number 2, thinking referrals are a golden ticket. Look, they're great, but they're just the first step. Get this, a whopping 77% of caregivers go online to research providers before they make any decision. So when a pediatrician gives them your name, what's the very next thing they do? They Google you. And if what they find is confusing or just meh, that referral is basically worthless. The third trap is mixing up promotion and positioning. A lot of clinics just throw money at online ads, hoping to get traffic. That's promotion, but they haven't done the really hard work of positioning, of building a solid reputation and making it crystal clear who they are. Promotion without positioning, it's like trying to build a house on sand. It's just not going to last. So if the old marketing goals are dead, we need a new one. And this means a really important shift in how we think about this. The goal isn't just to be visible anymore, it's to earn trust. The real objective isn't just to be seen, but to be seen as the clear, undeniable authority in your space. And here's why that shift is so incredibly important. In a field as personal as ABA therapy, being visible without being trusted is actually a bad thing. When a parent sees your ad but then can't find any substance behind it, no helpful articles, no clear mission, it doesn't build confidence, it actually creates suspicion. Families don't pick the clinic they see the most, they pick the one they believe in the most. So how do you build that kind of authority? You start by answering the real, practical questions that families are literally typing into Google. They aren't searching for textbook definitions of ABA. They're looking for help with specific, emotional, and practical challenges, just like these. And here's the really cool modern twist. When you consistently put out clear, helpful answers to these kinds of questions,
you don't just build trust with families, you're also becoming a credible, authoritative source for search engines and AI models. You become the go-to answer for both humans and algorithms.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem and we have our new goal. So let's talk about the solution. How do you actually build this system based on trust? Well, it all comes down to 4 key pillars.
So, this new way is built on 4 core ideas. First, you have to create educational ecosystems that actually empower families with real information. Second, you strengthen all those local trust signals that prove you're the real deal. Third, you design every single interaction for total clarity. And fourth, you make sure the way your brand behaves matches the clinical values you talk about. This is the blueprint for becoming a guide, not just another advertiser.
Let's start with that first pillar. You have to stop thinking of your website as just a sales brochure. It needs to become an information hub. What does that mean? It means creating resource libraries, local content about things like IEP support, and blog posts that directly answer the questions that families are asking.
Second, you have to strengthen your local trust signals. Think of these as the digital breadcrumbs that prove you're a legitimate, credible local choice. We're talking about an active Google business profile with real pictures, a steady flow of genuine reviews, and consistent NAP data. That's your name, address, and phone number all across the web. These little details signal reliability to both parents and search engines.
The third pillar, designing for clarity, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful question that every single parent is asking themselves, probably without even realizing it, when they land on your site. Is your website just a wall of clinical jargon, or does it use natural, everyday language that makes them feel seen and understood? Simplicity is what builds confidence.
And finally, your actions have to line up with your words. It's that simple. If your website promises compassionate care, but a parent's first phone call is met with a cold response, or they're left on hold forever, that trust is shattered instantly. Every single interaction, from the first click to the first session, is marketing.
Now let's look to the future for a minute, because it's coming faster than we think. All of these trust-building actions we've been talking about, they have a direct and powerful impact on something new: your clinic's reputation with artificial intelligence.
It is so important to understand how AI actually works. These models don't have opinions. They don't recommend one clinic over another. They are synthesizers. They simply look at everything that's already out there online and piece it together. So, if your expertise, your helpful answers, your trust signals, if they aren't clearly documented online, then to an AI, you're basically invisible.
So this all leads us to a very clear, repeatable formula for building that trust. It all starts with empathy, because families feel before they think. That empathy then leads you to educate them, where you build trust by being transparent. Engaging consistently online reinforces that you're reliable, which in turn builds your authority. And finally, you analyze what's working so you can refine your empathy and start the whole cycle over again. This is the real roadmap to sustainable growth.
So we'll leave you with this question. Take a really hard, honest look at all your marketing efforts. Are you truly building a foundation of trust that's going to make you the go-to provider for years to come? Or are you just adding to the noise in an already crowded market? Because in today's world, the difference between those two things is everything.